Our gospel reading comes from John chapter 15, verses 1 through 8. Jesus is talking. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me, you can do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. This ends our reading of the word. Please join me in prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be pleasing to you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. This would have been a very powerful metaphor in an agricultural society. It's still quite powerful for us today. These images of vine and branches, pruning, withering, gathering and disposing of dead branches, healthy branches bearing good fruit, and a glorified vine grower. It's beautiful to think of our interconnectedness with Jesus, that he sustains our life and allows us to grow, becoming bigger and better through our connection with him. The idea of God being our master gardener, caring for us and attentively watching to see how we are and how well we're producing good with our lives is absolutely beautiful. Imagine God as the fussy plant person, God singing and talking to the plants, making sure the moisture in the soil is just right and that the sunlight is perfect. But even a master gardener doesn't prevent storms. Even a master gardener doesn't construct force fields to keep the weeds and pests out of the vineyard. The gardener is diligent, keeping watch to minimize the damage of those threats and to help the plants heal as quickly and completely as possible. The master gardener nurtures the plants, including pruning them to stimulate more growth. Sometimes that pruning is almost imperceptible, just a nudge of conscience here or there to remind us we aren't making the absolutely best decisions. Sometimes we just need to be redirected a little bit, like a vine that's made a turn away from the support structure. Sometimes we need more substantial work, some serious pruning to get us back into a healthy growing mode. That can be painful. None of us likes to have our faults and flaws pointed out. It hurts. But when we remember that our vine keeper is doing that correcting out of love for us, the pain decreases and we're able to focus on growing again. One of the beautiful things about this analogy of vine and branches is, even when a branch gets separated, a master gardener can reconnect it, grafting it back into the vine, which accepts the branch and goes to work healing the connections so that the branch and vine can become perfectly interconnected again. One of the commentaries I read this week suggested that even bearing fruit isn't all a bed of roses. Like our plants, we're known by the fruit we bear. Will we produce beautiful, sweet grapes, or will our fruit be undesirable? I think about an old apple tree on the edge of my yard. It was already quite neglected when I moved in, and I have managed to continue that pattern of neglect. I know it's an apple tree because I recognize the flowers, the leaves, and even the fruit, but I don't get excited over the fruit it produces. The apples are small, often shaped funny, and have bad spots on them. So it's usually not worth my effort to pick them, since peeling them is a chore with all those lumps and bumps and all the spots I need to cut away. And sometimes when I get done peeling an apple, there's so little left, I think, why did I bother? I know that tree to be an apple tree. I know that it'll produce fruit, but so what? The fruit it produces is of limited value. Nobody is going to look at a basket full of apples from my tree and say that I am a master orchard tender. There is no glory in the fruit of that tree. So there is some pressure on us to produce good fruit, fruit that glorifies God, fruit that has value. The commentator I mentioned said that we can become fearful about whether or not our fruit will measure up. I think he has a valid point. There can be a sense of pressure to be good enough, a feeling that we need to be worthy of remaining connected to the vine. But friends, if that commentator had read the rest of the lectionary readings, if he'd read 1 John chapter 4, he wouldn't have spent so much time developing his point about living in fear. The stuff that flows through the vine into the branches, the nurturing sap, that isn't just water getting brought to us. That is life force, holy love. The author of 1 John gave us strong encouragement when he said that to know God is to know love, and that perfect love casts out all fear. Grounded firmly in our connection to Christ, we are continuously tapped into an unlimited supply of God love, flowing freely to nurture us and help us grow into the beautiful branches in this family tree of Christians. Each of us connected to the others by that same source of love and life. With that core kind of understanding of who we are and how we fit into the big picture, we can live in confidence, and our fruit will bear witness to the love that sustains us. Unlike a grapevine, or unlike my poor apple tree, as branches on the vine of Jesus, we can bear multiple fruits. Remember, the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. 9 fruits, each growing from the same branch. When we receive communion, we claim our place, not just around the table, but also in the vineyard. We celebrate our connection, our union with Christ. We affirm that He is the vine, we are the branches. And God cares for us, nurturing us so that we have lives that produce the fruits of the Spirit. May we gain confidence, courage, and strength from knowing we are all connected to the very source of life. May we live in such a way as to have our lives glorify God. May we feed each other, the entire world, with the fruits of the Spirit, offering love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control abundantly. Amen.